It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Big thanks to Derek, Baker 6 Clan, and our featured patrons, Glowworm77, Bounce, Poan, Atreides, 78723. Don't forget that part. Logwork, Mika Put, 000 Ridland Kids 00. Always love that one. And it's not spelled like it looks. It is spelled. No, it isn't. No. Thumper G and Texas Care Bear, Gas Station Tuna, Runner Casher, and our new patrons, DSK11, returning TTFN Cashin, JMJ-WI, the GBs, Country Girl 212134, returning patron Audie Olson. I think Audie wasn't really gone. He just didn't realize his credit card was not working. So Audie's like, I didn't leave. It's like, I know, buddy, but it showed that it looked like it left. But anyway, so if you're a patron, sometimes it's good to check because it's supposed to send you a message, but Patreon, I don't know sometimes. And the Geocaching Ninja are new patrons. So let's jump right into the show. I know. So there's my co-host, Jesse, the Memphis Mafia.
Are they very red, Memphis Mafia?
Yeah, we're going to get into that. I got a little spot in the news for you to talk about your weekend. Yep. So I do want to mention lots of good chat already in the chat room. So thanks to everybody. Royals fan. Electric Water Boy. There's the Geocaching Ninja, Western New York. And Vermont. Thank you, my friend. He's been on the show a couple times. We like having him on. Hey, how you doing? SOKRKX. There you go. Be Genius, GeoTribe 5. She posted a couple pictures that make me laugh because they're like, we've all taken pictures and people aren't looking, they're not right. Like, dang it, we got to take that picture again. So she just posted the ones that didn't.
I love it.
So it's really great. And Direwolf, I do not know why boots in Norway have barcodes on them. I have no idea.
Boats in Norway.
Oh, why boats in Norway have barcodes on? Oh, it's a joke. Okay, I'm missing the. Okay, he'll give us the. Oh, here we go. Is it so they can return to port? They can scan the Navy in. Scandinavia in. So there you go. Wow. From down under. So Monday apparently is a thing. Hey, Darren. Sherry, hello from Arkansas. She found key number 5, which we'll mention here in a moment. Tricassius, hello from Gilby. Hopefully the weather is good up there. Sparky. CJ is with us. All right, CJ Hove. Carl good morning, 3 a.m. You might fall asleep during the show. That's
No.
not due to the show, but I'm be going to work in 3 hours. Thank you, my friend, for being on. He is a great contributor to Cache Tour that we're going to talk about tonight. So I really appreciate them and everybody who takes care of us with Cache Tour. And we'll get into that very quickly here. Yeah, she says those are the best photos. I agree. Tyva's getting home from Bamarama. I call it Bananarama, but Bamarama. Somebody said they missed seeing you there, but
Their name, I saw their name didn't show up though.
No, but you were there.
There was a lot of people there.
Yeah. Charles with us, Charles and Laura.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's Charles's Pathfinder 33. Laura has her own account, which someday we'll have to get into. Should you have the same account or not? But lots of good people here. So glad y'all are all with us. There's one of the key finders right there, Christy. So let's dive right into some news. We have got a couple items that I want to run by you and get your updates. So, 5 keys have been found. We have 40 more to go. They have been found in Yuma, Arizona. I think it was Yuma. Charles can correct me. I know he hid one when he was out at that mega. Fort Smith, Arkansas, Independence, Kansas, Eugene, Oregon, and Muskogee, Oklahoma was the last one. And if you don't know, go listen to the song, not now, after the show. The Okie from Muskogee, very famous country and western song from way back in the day. So that one I hid Jesse in the snow in Oklahoma. I know. Can you believe it? Yeah, he says it was Yuma. So, and there's the other. Yeah, there she is.
Yeah, there she
Laura. Looking forward to seeing them here in a few weeks in Texas at the Finishers event. So anyway, but you just came from an event. You came from Bananarama. How was it?
A new mega.
Yes.
It was so. In fairness, I only got to go to the main event. Now I liked it first of all,
right?
But I had fun with it. But it was one of those things, the opposite of what we're talking about tonight. But Friday afternoon at 4:00, we're still here in Tampa, and we were debating, should we drive all the way up there, because we knew we had to be back home before Sunday. We had things that we had to get done, right? So we decided at 4:00 on Friday to go. So we just grabbed a backpack and some clothes, nothing planned, and started driving. And it took us till after midnight. You gain an hour, lose an hour, all this other stuff. So it was after midnight we got there, about 1:00 when we got there.
Right.
Because of course, geocacher time, driving time, right? But then next morning we get up, we get to do Bamarama. So we got to do the one event, the main event, which was a lot of fun. And I'm sure we'll get some more chance to talk about it and have some people on or whatever. But they had gadget caches it was on the beach. So gadget caches on the beach, tons of caches around town. And then there was after we left, there was a Mardi Gras. It was a Mardi Gras themed event. So Mardi Gras parade that night. They had a whole week of events leading up to that.
Right.
We didn't get to see all those, but from the people we talked to, it was a lot of fun. And the reason that made our decision to go on a Friday afternoon was we kind of went through the Willow logs and saw a lot of people that we hadn't seen in a long time. Yeah, like, let's just jump in the car and go. Drove up, drove back. In like 32 hours, we drove about 17, 18 of those. So it was a long time for a short bit of time. But but that's what you do as geocachers, right? You do things like that. And the tally at the end of here's what we got to do, and here's what we found, and here's who we got to see. I think it was successful. Now, could we have optimized that? Yes. But Bamarama was a fun one. There were some lackeys there, were some people there that we hadn't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
A bunch of network people were there. it was a fun one. Now, totally, it was cold, first of all, which it's not supposed to be cold in Florida.
Right.
But technically, this wasn't Florida. This is over the line. It was in Alabama.
Yeah.
But
Gulf
it's not supposed to be
Shores.
cold, and it was cold. And I literally had no extra clothes. I had a T-shirt. So,
well, you had your ugly Christmas sweater.
Funny. So, Chris
Right.
had a sweatshirt. She brings a sweatshirt everywhere she goes.
Right.
I'm like, and I'm there, and I'm like, I'm not that cold. But if we're gonna stand outside, the wind I'm just totally wind burnt too.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't even know. So we're in my Jeep. So I go start digging through the back of my Jeep. And I just happened to have a Christmas ugly sweater from a day I dressed up at work like weeks and weeks ago.
Right.
In a bag at the back. So I was like, I guess I'm wearing an ugly sweater to this event. But ugly Christmas sweater to this event. So, but you know what?
Great.
It was cold, so I did it anyway. But yeah, it was
perfect.
It was a neat event. I think hope sounds like it's happening again next year. They're gonna have it again.
Good.
And we'll definitely drive up for that one again next year, but stay for the whole week and get a house and be able to enjoy all the events and stuff like that. We had to, as a matter of fact, we didn't even have a hotel. We just drove until like we're getting tired. We need a hotel. Well, the first town we had one pulled up, but we want to make sure we got there. It was sold out when we got there.
Oh my gosh.
We had to drive further. Like, might as well drive all the way now and get there. And we got a hotel at the very last, like 30 minutes away from the thing that we were going to plan to get up and drive a couple more hours. And it was one of those just, hey, you know what? It's geocaching, right? We do fun stuff like that. And
absolutely.
I was regretting it this morning when I was tired, but now we had a blast, and it was fun. And I remember driving home from this event, and Christy just kept saying, that's why we love geocaching. People are so friendly. It's one of those things. And the people that put on the event were cool. And, the event itself, I hope stays an annual event every single year.
Right.
It was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And I only saw a small portion of it, right? The one, technically the mega, right? Which we know the mega that's not the event anymore. It's the week of the mega that's the event.
Absolutely.
So I didn't get to see the week of the mega. I got to see like 6 hours of the mega. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It was fun. Cool swag, the people in town got into it. We saw a really cool cache that I'm going to put some pictures out on that stuff too. Cool. They're trying to take pictures for everybody that, that wasn't there. And
right.
And I had a chance to even go through them and put them out yet.
Wow. Yeah. Because you said you got home midnight.
Yeah, it was midnight when we rolled into our neighborhood last night.
Wow.
So by the time we got in bed, you're closer to 1 o'clock, right? So
get
your stuff in and then sleep in a little bit in the morning. And it was good to see a lot of the people that I saw, even though I only saw them for a few minutes. It was good,
Mm-hmm.
It makes you excited about caching again. We've been moving and to cache a bunch, and we're all the way home. We're just super excited now about caching. We got all these goals we want to hit and everything else now, and we haven't really been doing that as much lately. We've been caching, but it's just normal caching. Now we're like, there's these trips I want to go on, and all these goals. So it was great.
Awesome.
Megas will do, if you're getting kind of and we've talked about the slump stuff before, but we were kind of getting the slump, not because we didn't want to do it, but just because we're so busy with everything else. And now we're recharged. So Mega's a good way to recharge yourself.
Absolutely. No, that's great. Thanks for that update. Speaking of megas, want to do a couple quick notes about Cache Fest coming up. It's the week of July 15th. The event's on July 15th, but we start on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Events are in the works. And so we really need everybody's help if you're planning to come, even if you're not planning to come. We do have we have the coins available for sale, the night and day coins. They're really cool looking. The backs are really cool as well.
Look awesome too.
So if you go to cachefest.com and go to the store, you can buy those coins, one for 20 or two for not 40 but 35, and the money goes to pay the bills. In case anybody wonders, we do this completely. All of the team members at the end of the year, we get, $0 for what we did. So all the money
we get paid exactly the same as reviewers do.
Yes.
But I'll take this
0.
job every single time over that job.
Yes, I would. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we pay our hotel rooms, we pay all that stuff. I mean, I always wonder if somebody asks, like, about that. No perks, at all.
Yeah, I'm still
I
waiting on
know
my
that.
paycheck, Gary. There's that check you promised me 8 years ago.
Yeah,
I
I
need to
know,
check at some
for
point.
this show.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're
No,
it
yeah.
gets we're
For
doubling
anybody
it
that
every
doesn't know,
year.
coins are to raise money to pay for the venue of the event.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're kind of behind a little bit on that, so we really could use everybody's help um, on that. So if you would take a moment, think about helping us out, if you would, in
Or share
purchasing
it with
some
others that might want to
coins.
have an upcoming event that want to buy some.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. So if you go to cachefest.com, go to the store and buy those as well. So, all right. Next item, and then we're going to get into the show. The topic. So a couple things. We still have some spots left at the host hotel. It's a good price. We got good rates for the host hotel. So there's still some spots there. And the reason that I want to mention the host hotel, a couple things, is it's a good hotel. We stayed there last year. They were great to us, and so they wanted us back. So we obviously didn't destroy our original welcome, apparently, and we're going back. But also, we're going to do an event um, at the host hotel, so that's kind of make it even more convenient. It's really close to Shelby Farms too, so it's not far
Right.
to the main event, or really a lot of the events we're going to be doing that week in Memphis. That's a good spot, easy to get on the highway.
Yeah.
Memphis to me, and I've been to a lot of big cities. Memphis to me is very easy to get around. You lived there for a while, so
It depends
it
on
can
what
hit.
part you are. If you're out east, out that way, it is.
Yeah,
It's logical in some sections.
right.
If you know what you're doing. Of course, nowadays it's a lot easier because we all use GPS. So,
Yeah.
but the host hotel, again, that's not about kickbacks, but it's fun to
No.
stay at the host hotel if you can. I know some people are gonna do RV, some people camp. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna be at my dad's house. My dad lives right down the
Right.
street, so I'm staying with him, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's fun when you do that because as you're walking out the lobby, as you're going in, you're seeing cachers everywhere. So it's
Yeah.
everybody's kind of all over the place, and it's like an off-site part of the mega that you're all in with cachers and stuff. So that's always fun too. Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
As Tom mentioned, it's a nice hotel with a great lobby to sit.
and D said there's a D in Geocache Fest 2023.
Oh yeah, you get a free tag for staying there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
free tag. So that's cool
Yeah.
too. Just
That's
something
perfect.
something kind of special
Special.
for people that get to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a free. Yeah, that's a tag that's special for people that stay there. So thanks, D. Yeah, they there's Starbucks in the lobby and all that good stuff. So so very cool. And I did want to mention too, last item for Cache Fest is they have pathtags.com has a thing called givebacks, which is kind of funny. It's givebacks, but it's the back of the
Well named.
yeah, the back of the path tag. Those are going to be up hopefully this week for Cache Fest Memphis. So that's another way to give back to Cache Fest. It's 10 cents, I think, is 10 cents a tag for those. And that money goes directly to paying for the path tags. So you can help us pay for path tags.
Keep this Cache Fest train going year after year, right?
That's right. Yeah,
If people
absolutely.
want it to go, that's the
hopefully
that's how that works. That's the boring part of the mega, funding it.
It is funding it, yeah. But we've got some great fun getting ready for that. It's gonna be a fun week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. A lot of great things in the works. And then Saturday, regardless of the weather,
Yeah.
we're indoors. So
That's right. That helps.
it's indoors. So we're covered for the weather, and that's one of the awesome things about the FedEx Center. It gives us a chance to do the big academies. That's a big thing that we're known for now. I think is the academies
Yeah,
with
those will be fun.
Gadget.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Those are our
Let's dig in.
news. Let's dig in. So I'm going to go through a little bit of Cache Tour, and I know Carl and some of the other um, Cache Tour folks are on tonight, and I'm so grateful for them. I'm going to do sort of a chopped down version of Cache Tour tonight, and I wanted, the reason I'm doing that is because I really want everyone to use Cache Tour. I don't want the complexity or there's a thousand things, and there's things in Cache Tour that I don't even know about. It's so great. It's so robust of a app and a website and an app, and we'll talk about. I'll show you why I use both. But I want to do tonight a special scaled down version because I want to negate all the people who are like, oh, it's too much. I don't know what to do with this. What's Tamper Monkey and what do I go do with this? And so we're going to skip all that. So my disclaimer is there are a plethora of wonderful things in Cache Tour. Cache Tour is a tremendous tool, but I want to give you sort of a working version, the blue collar version of Cache Tour. So first thing to do is if you want to follow me along, I'm going to just share my screen, and I'm going to go through Cache Tour. I'm also going to be pulling up Project GC because I'm going to explain what I'm going to be doing through those two things, and I'll have geocaching.com up as well. So yeah, if Carl says there's even things that he doesn't use, and he's an ambassador of Cache Tour, then you know that there's a lot. And there's nothing. I don't want anybody to take my comments incorrectly. I'm not. I love the fact that there's 1,000 things. It's like, yeah. So,
but you don't have to use 1,000 things. You can use just
right.
a small section of it for yourself, right?
Absolutely. And I don't.
And this
I want
is the opposite of my weekend.
Yes, is very much so. So yeah. So tonight Jesse's going to talk about how he did it, and he's going to talk about how certain things about Cache Tour that maybe could be even more useful for a big trip, because there's different ways to do it. I'm going to go through it with the approach of not traveling along. You did a long trip.
Yeah.
But you did some counties, right? You did some county caching.
We ended up with 11 counties.
Okay, cool. That's really cool.
Well, 11 Florida counties. I mean, I don't count.
Yeah, 11. Yeah, because you're doing. So we're gonna go through it, and there's different ways to do this trip. It's a trip planner, but I'm gonna go through it with the intent of, if I was gonna go do a bunch of counties, to try to get all the counties in a state. So that's kind of how we're gonna go after it. So Marcel's giving you a hard time. The king of county caching, he'd say he wasn't, but I think he's one of the kings, the royalty of county caching. Marcellus is with us tonight in the chat room. He said 11. That's all. Hey, it was last minute, trip. Marcellus.
That's right.
It was last minute.
Well, and that's the thing too, that's where the last minute, that's where Cache Tour would help. We had to find what we could find on the fly. We didn't have anything planned ahead of time.
Right.
So,
yeah. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm doing that now. And I'm going to share my entire screen, so it's going to be a little wonky for a moment. So just stick with me.
And It's one of those things as you're pulling all those up. People ask, like we joke a lot about LPCs and unoriginal caches. When you're
Yeah.
trying to hunt a county in the middle of the night, LPC is awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
You're just smiling ear to ear. If you're like, oh, look at this. There's a Walmart.
Absolutely.
Maybe there's a cache there.
Woo, yeah. The website is cachetur.no, cachetur.no. For Norway. Thank you, Norway, and all of our international viewers and listeners to the show. We love you all. We really thank you for being with us from whatever country you're in. We have a lot of countries that folks in different countries that listen to the show. So we're looking here at upcoming trips, and I got some crazy stuff set up that they're all future. The dates don't mean anything because really right now I don't have any currently planned, but I just put a date in. They're all in draft mode.
Okay.
Anyway, but we're going to start and we're going to do a brand new trip. So we're going to create a new trip.
And I have created trips on there before.
Cool. This is the trip for Geocache Talk Network. Different types. We're going to do a car trip, but you can do a bike trip, a ski trip, a boat trip, a long trip.
I want to know if anybody's actually planned a ski trip with this before.
Ski trip with this. That would be interesting. We're going to do car, pick a destination. We're going to pick, somebody just found a key in Muskogee, Oklahoma. So we'll put that in just for grins. Good job to them. I think they were there last night getting their cache. Trip. Once you get your trip decided, then you put in the actual dates. I'm gonna actually put in dates. We're gonna start tonight, and we're gonna trip for a few days. Time start. I'm in the central time zone, so that's good enough. And if you want to put in more details, you can. I'm just going to create the trip. We're going to get going. So save the trip. Now, a couple things that I do for this, because one of the major things that I really like about Cachetur is that I can plug in a bunch of caches and I can pick a destination, and it will tell me really accurate. I'm surprised at the accuracy. I've used it many, many times now, and it determines, based on the difficulty and the terrain of a cache, approximately how long that cache should take you to find.
So it adds to your Google Trips time.
It does.
Okay.
Which is really, really helpful, because if you don't really know when your trip is going to end. In our case of Jesse, It might end at midnight going.
Yeah.
Because now you were finding pretty easy caches along the way. Probably. I do too, most of the time.
So we were picking on the fly. So this is where you don't have to do that, right? We're picking on the fly with the parameters of it. We wanted it really close to the interstate.
Right.
And accessible at the time of day, which some of them were not, by the way.
Right.
So, and I'm sure we'll talk about backups and things like that, but we didn't have any of this planned ahead of time. So planning ahead of time would have been so much better.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
We chose easy ones, but you never know how accurate that's going to be if you don't have the time to read through the descriptions and everything else.
Right. I'm looking at the Cachetur screen too, Jesse. So if there's some questions that come up in the chat room, stop me and bring those up as well. I would appreciate that. Before I get any further, one thing I do want to mention is that I am a contributor to cachetur.no, and I really suggest that everyone contribute that uses it. And once you start using it, I would suggest throwing a few dollars their way. It is solely paid for the website by donations. So please go out there, give them a few dollars or whatever you want to give them if you can. I know that we have several. I look through the list of some of the folks who give, and some of our patrons are supporters. But if you're not, please, if you would, throw a few bucks their way. They're currently in their. I'll go over here real quick and show you their monthly donation goals. They're still got some to go to their
To pay for
totals.
the expenses.
Yeah. So
Direwolf's got in here that if you're, it's great for planning trips when you're on a multi-cache run because you can put them in the most efficient order. And I think we're going to talk about that for sure.
Yeah, we're going to show that. So one of the things I do, you can do sub trips and stuff too, which we're not going to get into tonight. We're not going to do all that. But here's something I like to do. I like to start off by putting my home in there, in home, and I add the waypoint, and then that's the first waypoint. Now, and then I'm going to start adding waypoints after that. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. We're going to add them
the questions as we go, just to jump back and forth so we don't lose them. But is it mobile friendly? Yeah. I'm sure you'll talk about that at some point.
Yeah. Think of it as it's mobile friendly because you build it on your computer, and then you basically pull it up on your phone, so you don't have to take your computer with you. That's a good way to put it. I mean, so if you'll notice here, as we look at Project GC, I could activate the Cachetur assistant, but again, we're not going to. You don't need it. Just another feature. We're not going to get into that tonight, but it's available.
But it's primarily designed for the computer, for the planning phase.
Yes.
And you can, if I understand right, I haven't used it in a long time, right? On the phone, there is an app for the phone, but that's already preloaded. You're just following along.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I know we'll get into that, but people were asking about it. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Good question. So yeah, there's an app for it. So yeah. I like having it on my phone when I'm ready to go. When you're ready to go on your trip, I pull it up on my phone and it's there.
Right.
And it's ready for me to use.
And Jim pointed out, now that we have the coordinates to your house,
yes, come
hide
see
caches me on your roof now. So
right, go ahead. Yeah. There's a Munzie on top of the house. If you Munzie, you can come get that too. But yeah, you can come say hi. So now in Project GC, we're gonna do counties. So we're gonna go into the map counties tool, and I already got Oklahoma pulled up. Even though I have Oklahoma done, we're gonna use it as our template tonight, just to use it for discussion purposes.
So you didn't put any parameters in there. You just did Oklahoma.
I just did Oklahoma. As you notice,
all the green there.
They're all green, baby. I did them all.
I'm jealous. I have never finished a state,
which is wonderful. I have finished
2 now, right? Or more?
No, I finished Hawaii of all places. That was the first state I ever finished was Hawaii. I have finished Texas, and I have finished Oklahoma. Those are the 3 states that I have completed. So, yeah, those are some big states. So
I have finished 0 states.
I know you're gonna do Florida.
Serious, though, I have 1 county left in Utah, 2 counties left in Colorado, and we'll finish down here. So
yeah, you'll get Florida. So
oh yeah.
All right, so we're going to start with this McCurtain County over here in the corner. We're going to pull it up, and again, Project GC. Not a sponsor of the show, but we love Project GC.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, you gotta love it.
Supporter. Yeah. So again, we're planning a county run. So you kind of can go through and look. Now you can do it different ways. Like let's say you want to do all the earth caches along the way. You could go do your earth cache counties. Your earth caches in a county. That's one way to do. That'd be an interesting way to do it, I guess, is to go through. Let me just pick one.
So you just You pulled it up. You pulled this up. Now you're just going to pick one of these and pull it over to Cachetur.
Correct. So the one way to do it without doing it through the assistant, which is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going the down and dirty method tonight. I'm going to pull the cache up and over here in geocaching.com,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to
Can you just
go
type it
grab
in the other one?
do a yeah. I just did a cut. I'm gonna do a cut and paste. So I did a Control C. I'm going back over here. I'm gonna add a waypoint, and I'm gonna do
So
a
if you pulled it and put
geocache.
geocache, you could just type in the GC code right there.
Yeah, you could.
Okay. Or you
You
just cut and
definitely.
paste the URL for it.
Yeah, I just cut and paste it.
Okay.
So yeah. So there it is already in there. Sometimes it takes a moment. If need be, you can just refresh the screen. So notice also it tells me that it's set some things. See, Carl even reported one of my support requests. One of the great things about the staff that run Cachetur, they are so wonderful, and I can't tell you how quick they are at responding to your request. And you can ask, if you're a novice, do not feel like you can't ask a question. Just send them a note and they will give you the information. If it's in their help or in their frequently asked questions, don't feel bad about that. Just send them a note and they will say, here's the link to your question. And there you go. So mark them all as red. They're all set. So let's go add another county. So let's just go through this because we want to get to the more some of the questions as we
Just
go.
add some
So
random counties. Is that what you're going to do?
I'm going to go through and I'm going to grab some, but I want to do them not randomly. I want to grab them in a line because I want to show you kind of what Cachetur will now do for us.
Okay.
So let's grab this one. We'll grab some Earth caches. Cache Canada will be happy that we did some Earth caches.
There you go.
So click on the down arrow. My computer's not
You can
cooperating.
just get it out of the URL at the top too, right?
Yeah. I could do this.
Will that one work? Yeah.
Yeah. And go back to here and I can put it in, add a waypoint. Lots of waypoints in here. You can go wild here.
Benchmarks. Oh, look at that.
Yeah. You could do a whole benchmarking. Yeah. So if you want to add stuff, but let's just add that. Yeah. See, it found it and knew what to do with it. Then you can let's put in one more county, and then I'll show you the other tricks that I do.
Okay.
So
now you've got your home, and it would pick the quickest route right now for those two. You just have two in there, so it's not much. You're putting a third one in there, right?
Right.
And then if you ended it at your home, it would give you the best way to go get those three.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. But I want to show you kind of what I'll show you a little bit different trick that I do.
Okay.
I think is really one of the really big benefits too, because let's say I'm going to do a multi-day trip. There's ways to do it. There's a thing called sub trips down here.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. See how it's already started to build. It uses these blue lines for right now. Eventually it will become purple when it actually figures out the actual, it just sort of put them all in for me for it. Yeah. Best route. But it's got them in.
Somebody commented on how close yours was to the edge of the border.
Yeah.
If you're planning county runs on one of these, either have a backup or definitely don't pick the last one out of the county like we had to find this weekend.
Exactly. That's another thing is you might want to put in. You could put alternates in, and then just you can then Oh, I'll show you in a minute how you can then. But part of it though is it's going to assume that you're wanting to do all of them. Notice it lists in the cache
A
statistics.
lot of
It
statistics
lists.
there.
I love this though. Shows you the counties, so you're like,
Uh-huh.
okay. You can then check your list and go, okay, I need McCurtain, I need Lafleur, I need Adair. So all of them are on my
You got
list.
the counties there,
I've,
elevation,
yep, got my counties. Got yeah,
sizes.
elevation's important depending on where you live. I mean, you might want to know that if need be. Let's say you want to know about your DT rating. Go
Hmm.
down here. Oh, you know what? I don't have a 2.5, 1.5. Well, I would, but you know what I mean. Then
Yeah.
you can go, oh, it's gonna take care of one of my PhysiGrid items as
What
well.
is it?
So
Is that's a lot of stuff that it shows.
it does.
Now placed
Um,
once, kick that one down.
that would be
Oh, I like
important
that one.
because you got the year 2000. So
Yeah.
you could use this to help your Jasmer planning.
Yeah, we may have to come back on here. I'm actually, one of the trips I want to plan has to do with that. I'll have to use cachetur for it, but
Yeah.
there's 6 year 2000 ones in Georgia
Oh
in one
wow.
state. So, and that's obviously not my home state. So I'm gonna have to use cachetur to be able to plan that whole week on this one.
Oh, absolutely.
I might have to get
So
your help on this one. We have to do that one.
yeah, that'd be great. So the caches we picked were 20. Is it 2010, a 2012,
That
and
is
a
so cool right
2019?
there.
Yeah, I love it. It will give you attributes. So if you're an attribute hunter, if you're missing an attribute and you're like, oh, I don't have the wheelchair accessible, is is not is it doesn't require. That's a weird one. Does not require a wheelchair accessible. Wow, we'll have to get the deep dive on that sometime. Deep dive Thursday nights at 7 p.m.
Well, maybe it's saying it's not wheelchair accessible.
Is not wheelchair
Yeah.
accessible. Which yeah. And then so there's those. Then it gives you a map, which let's see if it's updated. It takes a minute or two for it to kind of. We're not there yet, but it's planning it. It's in the process.
Isn't that where you like
Added the
ask for
time
it to build a route
zones.
though?
Yeah, you can. So if you go here to trip, you can tell it to order a new route calculation.
Uh-huh.
I use that quite a bit. So I'll click on that and it'll start the process. Other things that I use in here, you can sort your priorities. Oh, let's see, it already did it. I think. Did it do it? Oh, at the top. Yeah, see, it says it did it. Calculation of route for trip to GTN is complete. So now when I click on it, you'll notice that it's going to be different. See, now it's purple.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh
it's
yeah.
determined the route, and it's also determined how much time it's going to take me. So, and I'm going one direction, but if I were to then try to do a loop around and go back to the house, you could then,
So if you added your house again at the very end.
yeah. So let's go do that real quick. Lodging, or let's pick some random lodging place, I think. And it keeps track of a lot of those that
You'd want to put home, right, for the full circle trip, right?
yeah. So we're gonna do a full circle trip. We'll do home. So now, and you can put them in any order you wish, and it'll recalculate for you.
I like that.
But so let's let it do a new recalculation for it. And so I want to show you then another aspect of this that I really love. Let's see. So new route calculation in progress. Estimate 2 to 10 minutes waiting time. That's not bad at all. I mean, come on. And it's so quick. And I put in, well, while it's working on that, let me show you
Uh-huh.
some of my ended trips because I think it's important to see. So I can't show you key drop.
Yeah, don't show that one.
No. But here's one that I did. and you can put in whatever. Oh, it already did it. It's done already. So that's cool. So, so here's one where I did a short run. This was 30 items, and I have hotels in there, hotel locations. And here's what I want to show everybody. And let me show you what it looks like. This driving time was 23 hours, 37 minutes, 47 seconds. And it calculates the driving time with stops, a day, 2 hours, etc. It also lets you know if you're going to be on a toll road, if that's important. You could skip the toll road if you need to. This one happened to be all these counties. What was there? 25 counties in this trip.
Wow.
Yeah. So that
is wild. Look at that. That crazy.
Yeah. And so it shows you that there's a couple of them that I didn't do. It's because I couldn't, like, they were DNF, so I had to find one and another one. But I didn't go through and add those to Cachetur because there wasn't really a reason to add them.
Yeah.
Again, Cachetur is a tool. I don't need it to know every cache I did. I just need it to help me with.
It's your planning tool.
It's my planning tool.
Yeah.
And a couple of them I did the counties, but I just did them differently. But
right.
Here's the thing I like about it. And again, sub trips are available. I like doing this, which is the first day I'm leaving. This particular day I left in the morning. It was on a Friday morning. So I'm going to leave at 9:00, and there's a way to set your time. So there's a little button. I don't know if you can see this, Jesse. See how there's a little check mark by it?
Yeah.
Square. Okay. And I go here and I set the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I set it to 9 a.m. And what it'll do is it goes, oh, we're going to use 9 a.m. 09:00 military time. It's going to go, oh, okay. That is our new starting point.
Okay.
Starting time. So you put that in, and then it's going to calculate all the ones below it. So notice that the next cache, which I had to drive out of Texas to get to,
it's going to adjust from there.
Yeah. So see how the first cache was at 11:04. So that's going to be the first cache for that day.
Okay.
Because that's how long it's going to take me. It took me 2 hours and 4 minutes to get to this rest in peace in Oakland, and then it's going to calculate the rest of them. Noon, 12:03, 12:57, 1:25, 1:53. Then there's a jump because of just the literal amount of time it took. 3:00, 3:55, and it's like, okay, that's going to be good. I'm in a good spot to wrap up for the day. So I wrapped up with this cache, and I stayed in Moore, Oklahoma.
Look at
and
that.
So
here's your there's some more stuff you can do with it too. You may not be able to get into it tonight, but click the post trip assistant button and it'll give you a lot more stats.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if you normally do that or not, if we can get into that tonight, but that's looks
post
like
trip
there's
assistant.
More stats you can get from it.
Oh gosh, yeah. Look at that. Trip logs, task answers. Yeah, there's so many things. Like, you can get an overview of your Earth caches and virtuals for that trip. That's important. So, like, if you need to know ahead of time that there's certain things that you need for Earth caches and virtuals, there's a good thing for field notes as well. You can put those in there ahead of time.
Yeah.
So if you need to put in other information, you can put that in there. Overview of Earth caches and virtuals in this trip with direct links to the task answer tool. So you're like, oh, when I get to that Earth cache, I need to answer 4 questions. Yeah. Oh, well, I want to know ahead of time what the 4 questions are.
Already. Right.
Yeah. Because I don't want to get there. I mean, obviously you can't answer them until you get there, but I want to know ahead of time that when I get there, here are my 4 questions that I need to do. So there is that
I like
in
it.
there. So yeah, love it. So let's go back to the trip log. Oh, yeah, there we go. So again, so I'm going to start the next morning at 9 a.m. And so it's going to calculate from there.
So you went,
my
did you tell it to stop at a certain time?
well, I told it yes. So what I did was I went to the last one. It calculated all these up till 3:55, and then I
Yes.
said, you know what? I'm going to change. I'm going to make this tomorrow, and so I'm going to set my hotel to be 9 a.m. And then it goes, oh, okay. I'm now going to take this time, and I'm going to calculate from it. Yeah, and so that it starts from
So
there.
that's how you made a multi-day trip into one list.
Yes, that's the way I like to do it. You can do sub trips,
right, and everybody does it different. You're just talking about a basic version of how you do it.
Basic version, yeah. But there are then I can confirm with it. I can confirm all the counties I want to do. If you're county caching, that's key. If you're trying to complete your fizzy grid, then you want to check your fizzy. You want to check this. If you're doing it that way, Jasmer's right here. If you're trying to fill, oh wow, I got a 2001 cache in there. That's cool.
Nice.
Playing that. That's nice. And then there's the trip. So, yeah. So I'm gonna stop sharing, and I'm going to get your thoughts.
So, well, let me ask you a question. All right. So now you've got that planned, and let's assume for a minute you planned out a big trip with that or whatever. You got the hotel in there, which you actually planned out ahead of time, and I did not this weekend.
Right.
So,
well, but it was
spur of the moment, right? So this is the opposite of what I did. And actually, as a matter of fact, on one of my things, which this would have been a lot better, we were hitting counties, right? Well, we get into this next county, which we're doing just on Cachely on the fly. And all the caches were far away from the interstate, except for one was right on the interstate, but it was like 50 feet before the other border. So we went into the county, went all the way through the county, and we almost didn't get the cache. First of all, they closed the park as we were leaving. But it was the last one. We pulled out of the park and turned right. The county border sign was like 50 yards down the road.
Right.
So we just got lucky on that one. Right? If we didn't get that one, we had to backtrack. But so my question of all this is that all makes sense. I've done this before. Now let's say you've got that, you planned the perfect trip. Now what? That's my question. So how do you take that and then use it? Are you printing it out? Are you using the app? What are you doing from there?
Yeah. So what I do is once you've got it set, and again, I think Carl mentioned too that you want to take it out of draft mode, because you won't see it on the app if it's in draft mode. So
publish it or something, or
well, you just have to set the dates. Once you get the dates in it, take it off of draft mode. There's a button. You take it off of draft mode.
Makes sense.
So there's an app, and Android, iPhone, whatever you're using. You can whatever you've got. There's my geocaching apps right there. So I'm sure we all have different ones, but Cachetur is one of them. So Cachetur is great because the app is on there, and it will show you all of the trips that are active that are not in draft mode. If it's in draft mode, it's not going to show up here. But if it's if it's in active mode, so I've got one here called Fizzy because I'm thinking about getting some more fizzy caches. So I've got my fizzy tour, and I got it all set up, and then you download it. And if you want to update it, you just pull down, because if you go make changes on the website, you can update it on your phone immediately using the just pull down and do an update, do a quick update. It shows you all the caches that are exactly what's on. It's pulled from Cachetur. It will show you show a map if you want the map. So there's a example of the map. It's a bunch of where I goes in this
Nice.
particular version. Yeah. Um, it also, the great thing is if you pull up one of the caches on here, so pull up the top one. So what it does is it's got this arrive and departed.
Uh-huh.
It also gives you basic information about that cache. You can pull up the cache if you need to. There's a button for pulling up the cache. But if you look, it tells you what county, who it's hidden
Mhm.
by, the coordinates.
So will it help you navigate to it, or how do you do that?
Yes.
Okay, that makes more sense.
So, yeah.
Oh,
So,
Christy has a good question. Does it run offline?
yes, absolutely. You can then there's the app is Carl said the app is entirely offline.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Wendy's helping too. Thank you, Wendy. Yeah. So
All right.
at this point, then you can click open down here, and what do you know? I pulled in Cashly.
Yeah.
Pull in whatever app you want to use. We're big fans of Cashly.
All right.
Thank
So
you,
hold on.
Cashly.
Back up for a second. I want to make sure I
Yeah.
understand this. So you're in your driveway.
Yep.
You push the first cache and
Right.
it'll route you to that one. And you go to that one. You get there at the cache, right? Because it routed you to it.
Yep.
So show that first. Hit the first cache and then route to it. Show me how it routes to it.
So I'm going to open the cache
Uh-huh.
in Cashly, and you know how it is in Cashly. You just click, you click on your compass, and I'm going to tell it I'm going to
Okay. So
use.
you're routing to it through Cashly. So it's tying back and forth between Cashly.
Yeah, so I'm going to
Gotcha.
use
Okay.
Waze or whatever. So when you're done, then I'm going to go back to Cachetur.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to go back to Cachetur,
Okay.
and we found the cache. So I'm going to do
Hit
I'm
arrive.
going to do when I arrived. Yep.
Okay.
So there's the arrival, and then I'm going to tell it when I departed.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, if you'll notice, every cache on this list now has a new time.
So it adjusts based on the time that you spent there.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's going to go through and go, oh, my trip now is going to be completed at, well, bad example, but it's going to show me sometime in the morning.
Right.
Yeah, but you get the idea. It's going to show you, and it's going to tell you how long it's going to take me to do each of these caches based on that information.
Okay.
So I'll go to the next one, do the same thing, arrived, departed, and it's going to then adjust from there as well. It's going to go, oh, you're now ahead of schedule. In fact, let me do the next one, and then it's going to usually at the very bottom, you'll notice it gives you an update. Let's see if I can get it to. It goes, oh, you're ahead of schedule.
Okay.
So down here at the bottom, let's see if it'll ever.
Yeah, it won't quite show, but
No, quite show, but you get the idea.
you can see there's text down there.
Yeah, the text is basically saying that it says 8 caches remaining, which is nice. Tells you that. It says you are 53 minutes ahead of schedule. So it gives you sort of a running idea of how it's going as far as your trip.
Yeah, if you're behind or ahead or whatever else, time wise.
Yeah.
So
If you made a mistake too, you can go back and you can tell it, oh, I can reset the departed. I can reset the arrivals. You just push the button again. So that's cool.
I like it. And that's good too, because like if you're planning on a bigger trip, not even a big trip, right? If you're just getting 6 or 7 around home that are not in your one little city, you're going around quite a bit. It makes it a lot more efficient.
Right.
If you're not just doing a straight line like we did this weekend, just straight here and straight back. We didn't have a choice. We knew we were going to end up and we knew where we had to go. But if you're looping around or doing anything like that, that can really help you get more out of your trip.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Especially if you're, even if it's going to be a quick trip, if it's nice to be able to to get a gauge of
Yeah.
the time, because if you put on your list caches, if you put some D5 and T5s out there,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to go, oh, typically a difficulty 5 cache is going to take you extra time. It should, we
Should.
would think. So it's going to add that part in to the process. So that, because so many times when you make a list of like, oh, we're going to do all these caches and we're going to do them all today. Marcellus can tell you, Marcellus has done many county runs, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't really know, like, well, how many can I do in a day before it becomes, midnight? Like in your,
Right.
how many can I really do? Well, you can just guess or
Mm-hmm.
use Cachetur. Cachetur will give you a really good idea. So, especially if you're going to do multiple day counties.
Yeah.
For example, we talked about this before. It's like, well, how long would it take to do all the counties in Texas? All 254. What would it take? How long would it take you? You can determine that. Put all the counties, and you can do it from another cool trick we didn't get to tonight. But if you want to build all that offline and make a list,
Uh-huh.
and don't pull them over one at a time in the cache tour,
Yeah.
make you a list in geocaching.com. Just make you a list. And then you go to cache tour and you just pull the list in, and it pulls them all in.
And then it can reorder them from that.
It'll reorder from, and you can fix the orders if you don't like the orders.
Yeah.
But
it'll give you the most efficient order. But if you wanted to do something different, you could do it different.
you can. And if it's a longer trip, it does a really good job of figuring out how to get the longer trip done.
Yeah.
If you're doing a city, which the Motley Caching crew, we tend to go to a spot and we do all the caches in the spot. To be honest, it's not the greatest at determining what's next. You can tell it a start point. Like if you're doing a city, so you're doing 25 caches.
That one's gonna be based on other factors other than long driving time.
Yeah.
But that's not windshield time. That's like, oh, traffic's busy here. Let me grab the other one real quick. Or this business is open. Yeah, that's.
So if you got 25 counties in a little knot in a city, it will determine it. But you can tell it, I want to start with, like, you can look at the list and you go, I put them in this order, but we're going to be coming from the east and not my order that I put them in.
Right.
So I can say, okay, I want you to start with this cache.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes, okay, I'll recalculate. And it goes, okay, if you're starting with this one, and you can tell it, I want you to start with this cache, and I want you to go in the priority of whatever the next closest cache will be.
Yeah.
It'll recalculate it for you. So
I like it.
That's the
I'm going to have to use it more. I've played around with it, but I've never finished and taken it with me in the field. That's what I need to do.
Yeah. When he's mentioning about priorities, there's a thing called priorities in there. That's another cool. Again, there's we just barely scratched the surface tonight, but hopefully, because she combines her ETA information for the app with already prioritized caches. P2 caches I could skip if I'm running behind. P3 not including route calculation. Oh, that's cool. I can stop for if
she has time.
Yeah. And if you need it.
Right.
Yeah, like the other cache wasn't there, or I couldn't find the cache. I can then go to alternate.
That happened to us this weekend. Yes, for sure.
Absolutely. So, yeah.
I think it's a very useful tool, and it's accessible, right? I mean, there's people out there obviously that are experts on it and they can do everything with it. But for a lot of people, just doing a short trip, just like you just did, add a few more caches on there or whatever, and that optimize their trip, and then go straight from there.
Yeah. It's the apps are free. Paid for by donation.
Mm-hmm.
So even the app for the phone is free. We like using Cachely. Cachely's what, $7 or something. I mean,
I don't even remember. I bought it a long time ago.
yeah. One thing I suggest was periodically go through and either tip the developer, which is something that I like to do. You do that for Cachely. Project GC, you pay for. Well, you don't have to. It's like geocache.com. We're premium members. You want to be a premium member of Project GC. I think it behooves you to use to do sort of become a premium member of cachetur. The tools you use, the big tools. So hopefully tonight my goal was just to get everybody just to start using it. Find the things that work for you for what you're wanting to do. So if you're wanting to go a cross-country trip, but you're wanting to find, I don't know, all the earth caches. Let's say you're not even county caching. You can go through Project GC, find, earth caches that interest you, plug them all in, on a trip, because it's a trip planner. It's supposed to be for you to, and then it gives you a good idea of, what's going on. So
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm going to test it out. I will tell you, I'm going to test it out coming up here. I got a hopefully caching day coming up, or I'm trying to hit some around Tampa. I'm going to use it around here because I'm going to do it. I'm going to go and I'm going to take it out and I'm going to actually take it into the field.
Cool. Yeah. I like that. I've converted you at least somewhat.
We'll see. I'll report back how bad I messed it up. Right.
That's good. Okay. That's good. All right. Next week, I think, is Gadget Talk. Thursday, Jesse and I will be back for Deep Dive. We're working on different topics for Deep Dive. If you have any questions, definitely email us, geocachetalk@gmail.com. That's always available. Send us any questions you might have, any suggestions for show ideas, geocachetalk@gmail.com, and we will see you. We'll see you Thursday, and for another deep dive, and then next Sunday for Gadget Talk. So, all right, take care, everybody. We'll see you next week.
May your finds be many, and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.